Sports. Join in with the show at 402-489-1240 or 1-800-825-5865. Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Welcome to it. It's a Road Show Friday with Hail Varsity Radio. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel has made it to L.A. It's kind of the old Ed Foley or Matt Foley treatment in a van down by the ocean, not the river. Justice Rhody is duct taped to studio. We invite you out to Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Cross the river, put that bet down. Nebraska-USC, plenty of college football going on this weekend. A slew of Friday night games, NFL juiciness, and we're here for you. 489-1240, 489-1240 to get in. 800-825-5865. Can find and watch the show on different platforms. Hail Varsity YouTube, Hail Varsity Radio Twitter. I don't know if we're on the old Hail Varsity Facebook or not. We may get that rocking and rolling. Elijah, tell us all about the trip. You got in, little 2-minute drill special, brother, as you tried to find a coffee shop. We were wondering the following. Me and Justice were talking about how and what happened to Elijah. You checked in from the Denver airport after midnight. You tweeted out at Herbal Essence on Twitter the Randy's Donuts stop. And we were wondering, well, if Elijah can't make showtime, what got him? Was it the sugar coma, where you just had too many Randy's Donuts and crashed? Was it, gun violence that may have taken you out, God forbid? Or was it just, someone that likes to sleep under the stars out around the beach area that doesn't have a domicile that took you out? But you made it back to the Foley van. You got a beautiful sky roof behind you. It's not quite the beach. It's not quite Malibu. But hey, we got you. How are you, man? How's the whirlwind been?
You can actually, if I were to get my angles right, I think you could maybe see the beach from behind me. It's not worth the time right now. It's been a mess of about the past hour. Everything else about the trip has been fantastic. Weather out in LA is
just
awesome.
The whole work part.
I mean, spent some time on the Santa Monica Pier today. Husker fans are everywhere. I am telling you, you cannot walk a block around Santa Monica without running into multiple people wearing Husker gear. So the Husker contingent has traveled out very well. The problem has been within the past hour, there's been two factors here. So I kind of laid it out earlier in the week. We're spending night one last night at a hotel near LAX, and then we're moving to an Airbnb for this evening through the weekend. Check-in does not begin at the Airbnb until 4 o'clock local time. It's currently 2:09, so we have some time until then. My plan was, okay, I'm either going to make the rounds around Santa Monica, find a spot with the power outlet, or worst case scenario, I'll book it back to the hotel. I knew there were spots in the lobby. I could make it work. Two things have absolutely screwed me in the past hour. The first being, I went to probably every single coffee shop within a 2-mile radius. None of them have power outlets. I eventually asked the Starbucks workers, I'm like, oh, so where do you think I could find a power outlet around here? And they're like, good luck, brother. You're not going to find one. So I have made it back to the car, and this will be where we'll be doing the show from for now. From the phone as well, because the car cannot power my laptop. The backup plan of going back to the hotel became impossible with afternoon traffic here in LA. It was about a 25-minute ride to the beach to get here this morning. As I now look at the Apple Maps, it is close to an hour, so I wasn't going to have time to make it back to the hotel. We're making the most of it. It's been fantastic out here in LA, as you said, aside from the work part, but we're here, we're rolling. It's good stuff. And yeah, I think there's a lot of Husker fans out here juiced up, ready to go watch their Huskers tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that too.
Yep, should be good. Elijah made it to LA, and we want your input for the dreaded Hail Varsity parlay. We got to hit one. We were almost 1,000 airs when we were out here for Purdue. We were almost 1,000 airs when we were here on the road in October as well. And we just missed. We got to make it happen today. So I've got some cool cash in my pocket. We want a 4-team parlay, preferably college football. So other thing we'll tackle, what happens tomorrow here. How's Nebraska get this done? Get your predictions in. And a mess or a success? Simple enough for Nebraska's offense tomorrow. It's been a mess for a while. Is it more of a mess with this transition, or is it a success, as in Nebraska is actually able to move the football, put some points up, and put in your input as well in the stream. Email chris@hailvarsity.com, just where what House of the Stars you want Elijah to go search out tonight, because I'm sure he'll be offered a map of the stars before this weekend is done. Let's get our starting 5 shout-outs. Also, the lineup for you here on Hail Varsity is we're at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino, 4 to 6 today. We will have Brian Christopherson in about 10 minutes. In hour 2, the Pride of Fairbury, the Professor Bill Doleman, going to join us. We'll check in with Derek Peterson, Dr. Petey, formerly of Hail Varsity fame. Saturdays Down South is who he's with. Give us a preview of Nebraska-USC, and he's imaginary. He wears red. It is Clausburn. Claus going to join us at 5:40 for the Friday forecast. Uncle Larry gets in and got in early at 3:09. Says, keep your fingers crossed. Justin is here. Arlo is in. 3-putt checks in. Mike checks in from Cali. He says, I believe big things will happen tomorrow. Screaming Friday. It is Black Hills. Brennan, NASCAR Eric is in. Good to have you, NASCAR Eric. You have Tiger Shark Diver. Let's see if Elijah made it to Randy's Donuts. He did. And I don't know how many donuts he had. We need to give him the third degree on that. Coach Brandon is here. Coach Brandon for Holgerson at OC says, hi. Brent is in. Feel Good Friday. What beach is the nerd desecrating? He couldn't find his way to the beach, couldn't find any power. So he's in the Ed Foley Memorial van down by the ocean. We have Anonymous. It says NU has only lost 2 straight road games in November. As far as the current losing streaks they have got going, that's at least the worst. You have Sexy Grinch who checks in, says here. Grateful Red is it as well. Bruce from Spearfish says, what's up? We'll get more of your comments. Walter from Philly says, moving the Cincinnati game to a Thursday night. Fire everyone if that happens. QBA says, here is the parlay. Texas minus 13.5, Illinois minus 2.5, Boston College 19.5. You're getting points with BC, although their quarterback is pouting at the moment. And then LSU minus 3.5 at Florida. I hate that matchup for LSU at Florida. I know Florida's not great, but going to the swamp after getting pile driven by the Alabama Slam is not a good thing. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might just stay the hell away from LSU. Elijah, you are back. Thanks for handling the social. Jeff Snitley, part of the Boulder Peace Treaty, is here. I got to shout out my boy Nate Dickerson, my boy from college, Nitro, one of the smartest dudes there is. He helped me finally pass math in college. He didn't take it for me, but he tutored me a little bit, right? So long story short, it's his birthday. We'd always catch a Nebraska game together. The infamous 1998 face mask game against Kansas State. We were in my basement. Lots of beer was spilled. Lots of swearing happened at the end of that ball game. Nader and his lovely wife, Katie, a KU and Texas graduate, they are making their way here to the 1853 Bistro. We are going to have monster steaks tonight about 7:15. There'll be cocktails. There will be blackjack played. There will be sports betting to happen. Plus, you got Paul and Tyson tonight that gets rocking down in Big D. Fellas, how are we feeling? We are less than 24 hours away from Nebraska and USC. Has it waned a little bit? Has the anticipation, has the hope peaked? Has the hope waned? Where are you at here going into this? I picked this morning against Nebraska. I'll give my score later when it comes to our Friday forecast. I like the 7.5. But what happens? Does Nebraska figure it out? Does the defense come to ball? Or does USC finally close the ball game? Because are we all on board, first and foremost, this thing probably going to be a close ball game? You hope it's a close ball game. I don't think USC boat races Nebraska. I think they have the talent to do it, but SC's just been madness for the last 2 decades when it comes to talent translating into wins. I know they were in the Sugar Bowl just a couple of years ago, but folks really do hate Lincoln Riley.
The thing is I'm with you. I don't see this being a game where anyone gets boat raced tomorrow. But if there is a team that has more potential to do some boat racing, it's USC. They've shown the offensive firepower so far this year. They've shown themselves to be a better team at home. They have the talent all over the board. The thing is just I see a Husker team that is going to be extremely motivated tomorrow. I think they have extra reason for motivation with what's gone down within the past week and a half with all the changes. The fact that you're 1 game away from a bowl game, you've been there so many times, you want to make it 6. That's going to be huge for this Husker football team. I just see that if this Husker football team comes to fight, that's where I don't see the potential for a boat racing from USC. Like whenever this Husker team does fight, whenever they play with emotion, whenever they play with their hair on fire, which is the type of performance I think we're going to get tomorrow, I just don't think USC has the confidence to go out there and go hang 42 on this Husker defense. I think they have the players to go out and do it, but I think if Nebraska is playing up to their level, I don't see USC doing it. So I'm with you. I think it's going to be a close football game. For as much as we've talked about the offense this week, which is going to be important, Nebraska's probably going to need to get 24 to 28 points to go win this football game. I think it really comes down to the defense. Because USC is the team that can go out there and, as I said, put up 42 or put up 35 and put this game out of reach. Because if they put up any more than 24 points, I don't see a scenario where Nebraska wins it. But I think the defense is going to be motivated. I think they took what's happened over the past couple weeks personally, going to lock in on the bye. Maybe it's hopeful because I'm here, but I really do think this is going to be a close competitive football game tomorrow where we're looking up in the fourth quarter and it's a 3-point or a 7-point ball game.
Justice, where are you at, man? What's the roller coaster been? Are you heading up or are you ready to fall?
You know, I think with the way that the roller coaster's kind of been, right? Like everybody in Husker Nation got a big pop with the flip from Dawson Merritt. I think that's been a big spark plug in the energy for this Husker fan base. For me personally, I've been riding the wave because at the start I'm like, oh, here we go again. It's a road game, backup quarterback, you know, a couple of unaccounted for elements. And then the week starts to trickle and, you know, the hope starts to dwell a little bit more. And so will Dana Holgorsen stick to the run? You know, he coached Clayton Tune. He had Case Keenum, Geno Smith. He's fixed quarterbacks. Can he fix Raiola? Raiola's good to go. So now I'm kind of like on the uptick and looking at this. And I think the big question that needs to be answered is USC's not a very physical team defensively. How willing is Dana Holgorsen as a play caller to stick to the run? How willing is Nebraska offensively to be physical and to be aggressive in going after a USC defense that has not met the level of physicality they needed to win ball games? So that's where I'm at, waiting on bated breath to see how the offense answers questions because 17 is not going to get it done on the West Coast on the bright lights.
You know, the defense has been heavy lifting for a while. Do they come out on fire? That's your indicator. That's your signal. The real Matthew checks in. Does beating USC break the Bill Callahan curse? Great question. Warranted question. Our old buddy Jay Moore, there was some file footage from our friends at Channel 7 that put out the recap of the 06 game out in L.A. Nebraska got beat 28-10. I think that line was 18.5. And we talked a little bit about that ball game yesterday, but that was your measuring stick game for the Callahan era, right? What would you do out in Hollywood against that Pete Carroll squad that was just dynamite? And you found a way to duck, cover, and hang around. Theo checks in, shouting out the North Vikings. You got a big showdown with West Side in Omaha tonight. Sexy Grinch is making sure you're okay, Elijah. That's beautiful. Friendship, despite state lines.
I do need, by the way, you know how California can be. If you see anyone sneaking up on me from behind looking to rob me or anything, do let me know, because I'm locked in on this radio show right now.
You quite frankly do look robbable. You look very robbable right now. Crikey says, don't drink all the betting money, Schmitty. Someone thinks this is water. This is not Tito's and ice, I promise you. So there we go. Do want to tell you about what's going on here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Not only Amerisports, the Sportsbook, NFL College, the Paul Tyson fight. You can lay some heat, but they have an incredible chance for you to win a vehicle, the $100,000 Dream Car giveaway, and you can earn entries here through the end of the month. And every Saturday, you have a drawing. They choose winners between 7 and 8, and you can score $1,000 in pen slot play at 9 o'clock. One winner will score $1,000 and a spot in the grand finale. That grand finale is $40,000 credit for a brand new car. So they got that car parked out here in the middle when you walk in here to Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. We'll check in with Brian Christopherson. Hail Varsity, a Friday. Elijah's out in L.A., and always subscribe Hail Varsity YouTube.
For sports fans and more, behind Cabela's in La Vista.
Herd at Sports Bar and Grill. Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hi, David Brooks here, inviting you to join me this Saturday morning at 11 a.m. for the Retire Smart Radio Show, where we'll provide you answers to your most pressing retirement questions and help you navigate these uncertain financial times. Don't just retire, retire smart. This Saturday morning, 11 a.m.
Smart Wealth LLC is a federally registered investment advisor under the Investment Advisors Act of 1940 and an affiliate of Retire Smart. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Information about Smart Wealth LLC can be found by visiting advisorinfo.sec.gov and searching by the advisor's name.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Good afternoon from the 1011 newsroom. I'm Cole Miller. Coming up, a mess just off of I-80 near the Lincoln Airport where a semi-truck tips over, spilling pesticide. What we're learning about that crash, plus remembering an artist, his work, and his impact. The fundraiser underway to help his family. And some good news on this Friday. The Lincoln Children's Zoo welcomes a baby giraffe to the herd. We'll introduce you to the little guy. These stories and more tonight.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
And now,
back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, Hail Varsity Road Show. We're here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel is out in L.A. near the ocean in a van down by the concourse, I guess is what I'm going to say. Justice Rhody back in studio. Do we have Brian Christopherson?
We do
we
indeed.
Have BC. BC's also out in L.A., Husker 24/7 Sports. BC, how is the trip? Where are you at right now, man?
I'm at Hermosa Beach. You can probably hear the background. Sorry, it's really windy where we're at. And I'm at a place called Hennessy's right off the beach. And the seagulls are just fighting the wind. It's a real struggle out there.
So is that an omen for the passing game struggles tomorrow for both teams, or will it be nice and calm?
I don't know. Brunch doesn't have his AMS seal of approval, but he looked at the weather and he said it's supposed to chill out at 5 o'clock tonight. But I don't know. It's serious. We went on the pier just a block from where we're at, and it was quite the struggle. It was like getting up Mount Kilimanjaro. So I don't know if Brunch is right with his forecast, but he says it's going to die down. I saw the Husker weatherman put out that was going to be like 64 and nice. So I don't think it's going to be a storyline, but on the beach today, there's nobody surfing. I'll say that.
Brian Christopherson with us. And have you bumped into a Kardashian yet?
No, the closest we are to fame is right across the street is a bar called the Lighthouse, which is where they filmed the jazz scene in La La Land, if you're familiar with that movie, which was, some would say, snubbed of an Oscar for Best Picture the year where they announced that it was a winner, but then it wasn't. So we're right across the street from that. That's the most famous thing I've seen so far.
I did quickly here, Schmitty. I did have a celebrity encounter already, but it wasn't in LA. It was in the Denver airport last night. I told you all the bars closed in the Denver airport at 9 p.m., which was awful. But as we were searching for bars last night, we run into Kamaru Usman, former national champion at UNK, former champion of the world in UFC. It looked like he was off to watch UFC this weekend. So I did get one celebrity encounter.
Okay. All right. BC, I missed La La Land, but, maybe it's something I'll need to check out. Where are you at on this roller coaster of, hey, they can win, oh, they're in trouble, XYZ? I mean, the storylines have been great this week, but brass tacks, BC, is Nebraska needs a sixth win or more. And, you had some retooling done by Matt Rule, obviously. And, where's the readership, the listenership with Husker 24/7 been? What's your fan base been feeling? My gut kind of says this thing's another fourth quarter deal, and Nebraska could pull it out, but I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to bet later is what I'm saying.
No, I'm with you, Schmitty. I think it's a 4-quarter game. And if you can get USC to the fourth quarter, they're a team that has their own psychology to overcome, having lost, 5 one-score games. So if Nebraska can put the heat on them, get them into the final 15 minutes, it'd be kind of a switch of, to have another team that has to deal with that pressure of like, okay, you're the ones now who have lost all these close games, and maybe there's some anxiety in your own stadium. So if Nebraska can get it to that spot, I like their chances, frankly, in that position. You got to get it there. I think Nebraska can get some stuff done in the trenches. Their running back is electric, Woody Marks. So you got to keep him in check. I think that's first and foremost. And if you can slow him down and limit him to just an explosive or two, and that's it. And it's, I'm talking like a 15-yard explosive, not a 50-yard explosive. Make that quarterback starting his first game, put it up in some tough down and distances, and I think he'll give Nebraska a few chances to pick off some passes. So I do think there's opportunity in this game. And you ask, like, where is the readership or the folks at Husker 24/7 or people I've heard from? I think people kind of got pulled back in, honestly, with the Holgorsen thing. It really, amped people up, and they're like, all right, let's go. Let's see what this is all about. I hope people have a realistic viewpoint going into the game and understanding he's been on the job, 11 days. You can't work a miracle with that offense just like that. But I do think there's reason to believe they can find some stuff that works well. You hope their red zone efficiency can be better with a guy who has, I think, excelled in that part of the game in his coaching career. So there's a lot of reasons to tune in tomorrow, and probably more so than there were 13 days ago before all this news happened.
Brian Christopherson with us here, Hail Varsity Radio. He joins us from the beach. I join you from the parking lot as we talk Nebraska and USC. And BC, whenever you look at tomorrow's matchup, for all that's been made of the offense tomorrow, do you think there's going to be more pressure, more strain, to use an old Bob Diaco term, on the offense or on the defense tomorrow? Who's going to need to step up more for Nebraska to escape LA with a victory?
Oh, I think the offense. I think the defense can hang in this game. I really do. I think Ty Robinson could be a problem for USC up front. Now the question is, can you be an offense that scores more than 18.3 points a game? You know, can you be that unit that puts up 27 or something like that? Because I think that's kind of what it takes to win a game at USC. I don't know that you can beat them 17-14. So I'm not saying they have to feel strain, but you know, they should feel a responsibility, you know, at some point where they're going to have to put up more points. And why not start tomorrow? You got a new coordinator. You've got some juice around it. Hopefully he can get Dylan into some plays early where he can build some confidence, maybe hit some short throws. And then I want to see Nebraska spread the field at some point too. I don't think they've, let Dylan air it out enough sometimes. And I think you have to do that in this case. And even if you don't get the big completions, you can draw those pass interference penalties and stuff like that we've seen. So responsible aggression, I guess, is what you'd say. Like, I hope they have a foot on the pedal somewhat on offense, but it's done in a way where you're building confidence, maybe with some layups or 8-foot jumpers early on that Dylan hits, and he kind of feeds off that.
You look at the posters around corporate America everywhere, and you see those motivational posters, right? My dad's business had those up. I don't know who talked him into it, but he did. BC, you just tagged one. Responsible aggression. It's in every car sales office in America. What's the picture you're going to put with it? Because a lot of times you'll see courage, right? And there'll be a mountaintop, or concentration, and there's a very calm lake. But what's the poster for responsible aggression? It's got to be Dana and about 17 empty Red Bulls, right?
Yeah, that would work. That's a good one. Dana with some Red Bulls, like kind of burning the midnight oil. Developing a game plan, that could be one of the things. That's as good as I'm going to come up with off the cuff. You got me on that one. Just be glad. Brunson and I were talking about going out on the beach and doing like a Top Gun scenario where we reenact that, and we thought we could get a lot of hits off of that. Like, there'd be a ton of traffic, but we would probably long term be the worst for it, and our reputations would suffer. So everybody was spared that, but just be thankful we didn't pull that off today and do a Top Gun reenactment. There's a bunch of beach volleyball courts just about 100 yards from us, but we're resisting.
Well, you resist that and hang on, because in Top Gun 2 they went beach football. You could reenact Rocky 3, where you race on the beach and then you hug each other jumping up and down in the waves.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. But yeah, today's the day to be inside. That's why there's noise behind me. Honestly, I hate to do this to you guys, because usually I would step outside, but the wind is so ridiculous.
No, don't apologize. I love the ambiance. What's Brunt's drinking right now?
I was just drinking a water. Brunt's is on like his 5th drink, I think. Yeah. I'm joking. He's on his 2nd. I don't know what he got.
This interview.
Yeah. No. Brunt's is on his second beverage, and I don't know what he orders. He's a guy who knows his beers, and I don't. So he's always above me there.
You talked about Dylan Raiola and rhythm and the kind of the Dana factor. What's your gut say about Dana here? Brian Christopherson with his Husker 24/7. He's near the beach, but indoors. I'm interested here. Do you worry about someone poaching Dana after the season, or do you think you get 2025 with him?
I think they're going to get 25 with him. I think he's got a good relationship with Matt Rule that goes back, far beyond the last few weeks. Obviously, he was here in February. I know Matt Rule wanted him to be a consultant at the time. That didn't work out. You can understand why, because Dana's got Houston paying him $14.8 million right now. So, there's no reason for him to rush back into it. I think it says a lot about Dana, though, Schmitty, that he didn't have to jump back into this right now. He could have waited until December. This isn't an easy assignment to come in week game 10, week 12, whatever you want to call it, of the season. And, you haven't necessarily studied this team inside and out. You have to sort of pick up a game plan and roll with it. Not a lot of guys would do that. So I think it says something about his competitive spirit, but I also probably think it tells you that he respects Matt Rule. And we've heard Rule say, I think it can be a great fit. It's been seamless so far as it could be in these 2 weeks. It'll be interesting to hear what Dana Holgorsen has to say in his first interview. But the fact that he went out of his way to do this here right now, I think it says a lot about probably what he thinks about Rule as a head coach and being a part of it. So it's a good question you ask. You never know what's going to happen in the coaching profession where he could get an offer somewhere else. But I think Nebraska can probably, give him about what anybody else can give him at this point as far as a coordinator position goes.
Brian Christopherson with us, Hail Varsity Radio Roadshow at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. BC is in L.A. Elijah has made it to L.A. Brian, enjoy your trip out west. See what happens tomorrow. Make Brunsey buy you a drink and let me know what movie reenactment you guys come up with on the beach. But always appreciate you, man. Thanks for squeezing us in.
No, always enjoy being on. Thanks for having me.
There he is, Brian Christopherson. We just got to figure out if Bruns was on drink 2 during the interview or it was 2 total.
Pre-game starts at 2 on your home for Kansas City Chiefs football. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR.
Serving my country required sacrifice. Sacrifice that changed my life forever. I remember the day I came home. Because of my injuries, this house wasn't right for me anymore. I remember the narrow doorways, the small bathrooms, the shelves out of reach when in my wheelchair. Every day was full of obstacles. I felt trapped. I remember a better day, the day my family received a specially adapted custom home from Homes for Our Troops. That day changed everything. Now we have a safe and accessible home to enjoy the freedom I fought for. This place, our home, is exactly what we needed to rebuild our lives.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices.
Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips?
But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. You can find Active Liver at Amazon.com, or for a volume discount, visit NewNordicUSA.com. Go to NordicUSA.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New year, new you, New Nordic.
Hey, this is Dan Bongino. As a former NYPD police officer, Secret Service agent, and a TV host, I'll bring Nebraska an honest perspective on the day's events. I'll debunk the nonsense you hear in the media and give you the real insight on what's really going on. Join me, Dan Bongino, weekdays from 11 to 2 on FM 101.5 and 1240 AM KFOR.
With Progressive, you get more than savings. You get access to us through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
Oh, I see what you're doing here, Jamie. Giving me all these ways to stay in touch so I have no excuse not to. Well, you're in luck, because this guy's in the market for a new BFF.
Actually, all our customers can contact us this way.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
So Bluffs Casino, we have crossed the river. I am staring at the sports book right now, just outside Amerisports. We invite you out here till 6 with Hail Varsity Radio Roadshow Friday. Elijah is near the beach in L.A. Justice back in studio. Kevin is checked in from Dale Rapids, South Dakota. Loose Lips is here. Jay says Nebraska's putting up 52 points tomorrow, and we're all going to be real pissed at Satterfield for the rest of our lives. We encourage you to give us that Hail Varsity 4-team parlay so we can put some money down. We are looking for your input. It's almost worked out 2 times. Third time is going to be the charm. KG is checked in. Tim is in from Idaho as well. Bill Doleman coming up here at 5 o'clock. Derek Peterson with Saturdays Down South to preview USC as he has covered Lincoln Riley since his days in Oklahoma. Loose Lips says bubble screens galore. That's no fun. Sorry. That's brutal. Arizona Huskers here. Love that. Elijah is a bit pale for the Southwest. Hippie Husker Cornbread is in. Long-time listener, first-time chatter. Good to have you. So there we have it. But, Juan Camacho's come in. Imagine your first month on the job, you get $66,000. That would rock. Carl is here as well. And we'll get to more of your comments. Give us your score. Give us your prediction. Does Nebraska get it done? Elijah, Justice, Nebraska got it done on the recruiting trail. Dawson Merritt officially flipping. And it's a Kansas City product out of Overland Park, Blue Valley. He's an edge dude. He's good enough to play for Bama. Nebraska kept after him. Think about just the work Nebraska can continue to do on the trail and in the portal if they actually win on the field. Because, damn it, they win in the living rooms. They win in the off season when it comes to developing relationships with high-level talent. And you got to really credit Matt Rule here, Elijah, for not taking no for an answer. And somebody's going to tell me, no, Schmidt, back away from the bar. No, Schmidt, back away from the table tonight at the casino. That will happen. But Matt Rule's like, no, how about you come play linebacker for us? And it's looking good so far.
Yeah, huge pickup. I don't think you can overstate how important the flip of Dawson Merritt is. Just the kind of talent it puts into your linebacker room, what he can do from that edge spot. I don't consider myself a recruiting expert, but I think whenever you watch the film and when you hear what the really knowledgeable people in the recruiting circles have to say, it's a guy that can come in and contribute early. Like you think back to Rule's first recruiting class with Prince Will, with Linhart, like guys that came in at that edge defensive end spot contributed early. Merritt is another guy that I think follows those guys' path. Like he's going to be a guy that if he comes in and puts in the work as he should, I think we're probably going to see him as a true freshman. Maybe not a starter, but that's kind of the forecast a lot of people have for him. I think that's got to be Nebraska's plan with him as well. But it also lets other recruits know, like, hey, there's still high-level players out there, guys that were committed to Bama, that believe in this Nebraska vision, that believe in what Matt Rule is building at Nebraska. And I think that's a huge factor as well, that, you know what, despite the struggles of the last month, this sends a clear message to everyone around the country that's heard from Nebraska. Like, man, Dawson Merritt, the guy whose dad coaches for the Kansas City Chiefs, followed his heart and the heart told him Nebraska. That says something to other recruits on the trail. That's big. Merritt even said in an interview as well, he's not going to be the last one that flips or commits to Nebraska before signing day. That's huge as well. But I want to focus in on Merritt and spend time on him because he himself is just a big pickup with the type of athleticism that he can bring to this Husker football team. Off the edge, we've talked about that. Nebraska needs more speed on the defense. He's a guy that's got that high-level mix of speed and power. Does it translate to the college level? We'll find out. But the people that are in the recruiting circles that understand the projectable traits, I mean, I see it on film. Those guys see it as well. Seems to be a guy that has the athleticism, the speed, and the strength to quickly come in and make contributions to a high-level Division I program.
Well, in Nebraska, you're going to need to go portal and be right with guys that can come in and be effective. But if you're going to go the high school route, which is where you develop, you're going to need to be on target on the lines of scrimmage. But go get guys that can contribute. Get a Barney, get a Raiola that can contribute, obviously. You looked at Lenhart and Princeville a year ago that came in and gave great snaps. Same with a Van Poppel. You want guys that are college ready. And yes, you're going to need some development time for some of the offensive lines of scrimmage traditionally. But you get a Dawson Merritt, that's huge. Which is big time. You get that 500-mile radius you want to do as well as you can in that Kansas City area. You've got Mosey on staff, which is nice. You flipped Dawson. You flipped Isaiah Mosey from Oregon. You got offensive tackle Juju Marks also flipping from Kansas. So you have the effort, the input, and you also have Mosey that is helping in that region. It is so rich with talent. Why is Missouri bumped up? Because they have kept their in-state kids home. They've been good. They've been ranked. They've been doing well in the SEC. Kansas, I know they got a chance to take down BYU after Iowa State this weekend. But Kansas with Leipold, they are going to keep. I mean, it's a crowded area, man. It's a crowded area. Nebraska used to go in and pick. Now Kansas, Missouri, Kansas State, for the love of God. I mean, all three of those programs are at a better spot than Nebraska, and they have been for a while. And don't forget, I mean, you still got Iowa. So it's a pretty talent-rich region that's in your backyard, but you've got tenants there that have been able to clean up for quite a while. So this is monumental. I forgot Shavers. Shavers a guy that from an athletic standpoint and an intelligence standpoint that's come in and performed pretty well. Think about what he can do next year stepping into the middle as he's gotten his feet wet right now, and he's not looked out of place. It's not looked too big for him. You get the talent aspect, yes, Elijah and Justice, but you get a guy like Merritt here. It's a guy that can come in and just help contribute and go make some plays for you in that front seven.
And to go a little bit more micro, the two high-level linebackers that you've got in this class, they play slightly different roles, but Christian Jones and Dawson Merritt, those are two prototypical, like, modern linebackers. They can get
good against the run, really solid against the pass.
Yeah, exactly. They can get after the passer just as well as they can get out and cover in space and be able to use their athleticism to cover a linebacker. Those are two guys that if the chips fall how we think they can, like health permitting, and they develop how you'd expect guys can develop within a Matt Rule football program, man, that is a combo that could be really, really dangerous for other Big Ten teams for years to come, just because of that combination of athleticism and power that both of those guys possess as 18-year-olds, as high school seniors.
489-1240, open phones here till 5. Bill Doleman coming up. We're here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino, Hail Varsity Radio Roadshow, and keep that input coming as Moonbot checks in. Keep that input coming for the 4-team parlay. We got to get a winner picked tonight. We'll wind down this first hour here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Elijah out at the beach in L.A.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Hello, neighbor from Super C Convenience Stores. Have you downloaded Super C Rewards yet? You are missing out. You just swipe and save every day with the new Super C Rewards app. You could be getting 5 cents off a gallon of gas. You should be getting triple points on Wednesdays and double points on free-for-all Fridays. You'd be getting points on the dollars you spend and redeeming them for free stuff. You need to swipe and save every day with Super C Rewards. You can download now from Google Play and the Apple Store.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, if you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast. So, for any kind of office.
I'm really going places in my office.
Count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
145 over 92.
180 over 111. I had a heart attack and a cardiac arrest and then a stroke.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life. Lowering your high blood pressure could save you from a heart attack or stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
Now I'm, trying to get better, stronger than ever.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Hard to believe the holiday season is almost here. Hi, Steve Carper at O Street Carpet. Time to spiff up the guest room or kitchen with a beautiful wood floor. At O Street, you'll find the best selection in solid woods, hand scrapes, everything. Free in-home measuring, professional installation, and with our 12-month interest-free financing, you won't have to tap into your holiday budget. Stop in. Let's get your home holiday ready. We're O Street Carpet, locally owned, family owned, always the best values.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. We want to make you a customer for life.
Our liver works hard every day to remove toxins from processed foods and unclean air and water. But too many toxins can overwhelm the liver. Low energy, brain fog, headaches, bloating, and skin irritation are all telltale signs that we need to act. Active Liver from New Nordic is a natural supplement that helps your liver effectively eliminate toxins on a daily basis.
Within a week of taking Active Liver, I was feeling better, and now I have.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Winding down this first hour, it's Hail Varsity on the road. We are here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Your chance. Get signed up. That dream car can be yours here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. All sorts of intrigue as well with the NFL weekend, college football weekend. You want to bet Creighton or Nebraska? Got to do it here especially if they're playing at home. And quick reminder about that dream car giveaway. It's a $100,000 dream car giveaway Saturdays in November here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Your chance to be one of those 3 winners that are picked at 7 and 8 p.m. on Saturday nights. $1,000 also up for grabs for you with Penn slot play. And the grand finale going to be November 30th. If you're that lucky person, get another $1,000 in Penn slot play and a chance to win a credit for $40,000 to pick out your brand new car. The Mazda I'm staring at here as I did walk in to Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino is fantastic. They've got the steak and shrimp buffet going tonight. They've got the crab legs buffet going. They have the mother of all breakfast buffets going on Sundays. That's bottomless mimosas. The bunny, my lovely wife, will show up with an IV for that. What are you doing for dinner tonight out in L.A., Elijah? You don't know?
I have no idea. It is 2:50 here. I haven't thought about dinner yet.
Again, you are just searching for power. Again, find the map of the stars. We had another listener that says you are going to go and try and find Arnold Schwarzenegger, aren't you? What you got to go, though, do is get to Bel Air, all right, and go check out, and I know that was a TV stage, but try and find the house that looks like the Fresh Prince of Bel Air house. Do you ever catch that on reruns?
Of course. I can't say I'm enough of a fan that I'm going to try to brave it through all the LA traffic to go find that, but we'll see.
Go find 94-year-old Clint Eastwood and tell him you want to be in one of his movies. Or go find Tarantino. Go kick it with Brad Pitt tonight.
I could try. First off, I'm not one of those big, like, celebrity hound type guys, you know? Like, I'm a... Okay,
your mustache is movie quality. Someone will cast you for something. Just make sure you decline the San Fernando Valley invite.
Yeah, I was going to say, cast me for something. I'm not sure that's what I'm looking for here. My mustache, I'm sure, would do great in that industry, but that's not for me, I don't think.
Son, put these swim trunks on. You're a pool boy today.
Moving on.
It's not a credited role.
Okay, I'm an extra.
Yeah, you're an extra. Wow. We've gone to a dark, dark place. How you feeling about Washington, UCLA tonight? I'm kind of I would put some heat down on UCLA. Maybe I'm just drunk on the baby blue. I don't know.
That's a team that seems to have figured something out, but also, as we know, the Big Ten is the ultimate week to week, comes down to matchups. What's the line in that game?
I think it's 4.
4?
Yeah, -4 Washington. You get UCLA in 4.
Yeah, I do like UCLA +4, but it's so hard to say in a conference such as this, where UCLA is probably riding pretty high right now.
Yeah, total letdown spot before SC. We'll get into hour 2. Elijah's out in L.A. Chris Schmidt here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Proud of Fairbury. Bill Doleman's coming up in hour 2.
Fresh hand-breaded tenders, perfectly fried wings, and all the southern sides made fresh for you. It's easy. Just order on the Slim's app or website and leave everything to us. You can get it delivered right to your door. Any party, any size. Slim's has your crowd covered. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
Build up to Black Friday with savings all month long at Lowe's. Get up to 50% off select major appliances. Plus, take an additional 10% off when you buy select major appliances. And don't wait to pick up holiday inflatables under $20. Don't wait to save. In-store or online now. Because Lowe's knows deals. Valid 11/6 through 12/4. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. See Lowe's.com for details and qualifying items while supplies last.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
This is your station for local news, talk, sports, and weather. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, Lincoln.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Several of President-elect Trump's picks for his incoming administration could face an uphill battle when it comes to Senate confirmations. Former Congressman Matt Gaetz resigned hours after being nominated and ahead of the House Ethics Committee's releasing of its findings into the sexual misconduct investigation of Gaetz. House Speaker Mike Johnson now says since he's no longer a member of Congress, the report should not be released. ABC's Jay O'Brien has more.
We know that there are senators
senators on both sides of the aisle, including some high-profile Republicans who say they want this report. We know that Democrats in the Senate Judiciary Committee have already told the House Ethics Committee to hold on to this report. It's really unclear if the Senate could compel this House committee to give them the report if Matt Gaetz were to go before the Senate and actually face confirmation hearings and a potential confirmation vote. It could set up a clash between the House and the Senate.
Today, President-elect Trump naming Stephen Chung as his White House communications director. Rudy Giuliani, the embattled former New York City mayor and former attorney to Donald Trump, complied with a court deadline today, turning over valuables, including his Mercedes-Benz, watches, and other financial assets. It's all part of the $148 million he owes in a civil defamation trial of 2 Georgia poll workers in the 2020 election. Retail sales were up last month.
Suggesting the economy is growing briskly, retail sales rose 0.4% from September to October, a solid increase, but less than the previous month. Spending was robust at car dealerships, electronic stores, and appliance stores, and to a lesser extent on bars and restaurants. Garden center store sales were also up, which could be the result of rebuilding after the hurricanes. Americans spent less last month on furniture, clothing, and at drugstores.
ABC Sherry Preston. Tropical storm Sarah making landfall earlier today along the northern coast of Honduras and could bring torrential rain to Central America. You're listening to ABC News.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices. Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips? But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver. And at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. You can find Active Liver at Amazon.com, or for a volume discount, visit NewNordicUSA.com. Go to new, NORDICUSA.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New year, new you, New Nordic.
Another birth at the Lincoln Children's Zoo. Hello, I'm Will Wilson. It's 60 degrees at KFOR. The Lincoln Children's Zoo announced on Friday the birth of a male giraffe. Communications Director Aaron Lenz tells KFOR News that on November 3rd, a male giraffe was born to second-time mother Allie and third-time dad Joey. A name has not yet been chosen for the baby giraffe.
And that will be announced at a later date.
Zookeepers said the calf stood within the first hour of birth and measured just under 6 feet tall and 130 pounds. Zoo visitors can meet the giraffe calf beginning this Sunday at 10 a.m. at the indoor giraffe barn. Friendly reminder to consider getting a flu shot this season as activity starts to pick up. For those that have no insurance or lack in coverage, flu vaccines are available too at the health department. Contact the health department for more information at 402-441-8065.
The criteria is if they're children and they're on Medicaid, they can absolutely come into the health department. If they're uninsured, both children and adults, and children who are identify as American Indian or Alaskan Native. So those are the criteria for the free flu vaccine that we don't charge them.
Lincoln Lancaster County Health Director Carrie Kernan tells KFOR News those at risk for the flu include adults 65 and older, those with chronic health conditions, women who are pregnant, and children under 5 years old. Some new information today about a late Thursday afternoon crash at Antelope Park where a vehicle crashed into a dry creek bed over by Memorial Drive in Garfield Street. Lincoln Police Public Information Manager Erica Thomas says a preliminary investigation showed the driver suffered a medical episode.
In that process, had stepped on the accelerator and ended up in the dry creek bed.
The driver was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Partly cloudy tonight with a low near 48. I'm Will Wilson, KFOR News.
These are today's top headlines.
RFK Jr. is Trump's pick to be Health and Human Services Secretary. Musk and Ramaswamy will run Trump's new Department of Government Efficiency. Accusations and revelations begin to pour out over announced cabinet picks.
Don't miss a thing. Stay connected for whatever's next.
News that affects you on air and on demand. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR.
Keep Keep up with the local news, sports, your favorite talk shows, and pro shows on KFOR wherever you roam. Stream us 24/7 at KFORnow.com or on your mobile. You can download the free iHeart or TuneIn app and stream KFOR on the go.
The following is a paid program. Content is provided by Hurrdat Media and may contain
He's the pride of Fairbury, an average Joe. Bill Doleman, the professor.
I had a 6 ACT in 1967. One time I got an A and my grandma beat me for cheating.
Now with Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, it's hour 2. It's Hail Varsity Road Show here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Here till 6, getting you ready for Nebraska-USC. I am glowingly looking at the sports book, all that wagering possibility. We'll get the Hail Varsity 4-team parlay nailed down. More of you are throwing in your informed takes. Elijah is in a van down by the ocean. Bill Doleman is in his office. Justice Rhody is duct taped in studio. Clausburn on the way with the Friday forecast. Derek Peterson going to join us from Saturdays down south. Pride of Fairbury, Elijah may dabble in some acting this weekend. He is going to get, no doubt, accosted by some sort of talent agent out there in La La Land, don't you think?
It's entirely possible that Elijah might be in a van parked outside a seedy motel somewhere down on Hollywood Boulevard. I'd get the money up front, bro.
Yes. Tiger Shark says Boogie Nights, the sequel.
The thing is if I were to get accosted by a talent agent, it would mean I'd have to have talent first. So I think I'm safe there.
You've got plenty. So you're going to be partying with Scott Disick and the Kardashians tonight. It's all good, man.
I doubt it. I did actually, during that last commercial break, get a text from my friends. Hey, we found the one bar down here that actually has power. They said you could use it. I'm like, you're 90 minutes late. I'm already stuck in the car. Like,
well, just walk and talk, dude. It's okay.
I'm comfortable in the car. It's
okay.
I think we have good sound quality here.
Go down to Venice Beach and walk the boardwalk there. That'd be an interesting show for sure.
That'd be quite good. Make sure the delays stacked upon stacked upon stacked. Bill, it's USC, it's Nebraska. Why is it going to work out for the Big Red tomorrow? Why is SC a problem tomorrow? Both sides of this argument here, bud.
I want to talk more about the giraffes. I just hear correctly that for Mama Giraffe it's her second, but for Dad it's his third? So Dad swiped right on something a little on the outside. Is that the deal?
Yeah, the Lincoln Zoo has a new male baby giraffe.
But for Dad, it's his third. Dad's in the NBA or something. I don't know. But,
and he makes the league minimum if he's only got 3.
So anyway, I can do the math on that, But anyway, what do you want to talk about?
I wanted to ask you about USC. They are the Trojans.
Tell that to the giraffe.
I know. So, back to football. Here we are. Confident or nervous tomorrow?
Well, I think at this stage of the 20-year game, that we're nervous just about every week, unless there's a U and a TEP in the name of the team they're playing. I think you feel pretty confident in that regard, but I think you have to be nervous about where this Nebraska football team is. I think more so mentally than anything. And I think that's the case for both of these teams. They both have great athletes. And you take a look at USC's offense, and they're making a change at quarterback, but Maeva led UNLV to a conference championship game last year. He's hardly played at all this year. So he's going to be a little on the rusty side. But they've got athletes. Nebraska has athletes, especially on the defensive side of the ball, where they should be more organized than whatever we're going to expect to see on the offensive side. But I think that mentally this is a game where Nebraska's got to say, look, we went into Ohio State, and they may have been looking ahead to Penn State, but we gave a really good effort all around, especially defensively. And regardless of where Ohio State was in terms of their preparation for Penn State, Nebraska, man for man, at times manhandled Ohio State's offense, other than the drive that produced the game-winning touchdown. So if Nebraska's defense has that kind of effort and comes out with that want to and that will to win and that desire to prove something, Nebraska has a very good chance in this football game. Offensively, no question about it. There are going to be question marks right up through kickoff as to what Nebraska is going to do offensively with Dana Holgorsen. I do not believe that him getting the reins to the offense happened on Monday or Sunday or Monday. This has been an ongoing thing. I'm sure he's been studying Nebraska's playbook, its personnel, and after the lack of production against UCLA, it was just time to do it, right? So this is not him coming in cold. I do not believe that for a minute. But the mental aspect of this game for both of these teams is really where it's going to be won or lost. Which team is better prepared to fight for 4 quarters and not just fight for a little while?
Bill, mentally, you wonder about the response, don't you? You wonder about USC's response with the quarterback change. I mean, how many guys are ticked off that Miller Moss is not their quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe Maeva's not going to turn the football over, and on 3rd and 8, it's going to be a pain in the neck with him scrambling around, a little Charlie Ward tribute. That's what I would worry about, the mobile quarterback aspect that screws up so many defenses on 3rd down. Flipping it around, if I'm Nebraska, listen, on one hand, you need, and you've gotten buy-in so far along with Matt Rule. Guys have believed him and done what he said, and they have seen it work sometimes. They have seen it falter in other instances, and the Achilles heel has been the offense.
Can we just point out that was a quick scene by Elijah? Now he's back. So go ahead.
Yes.
Okay, so my laptop briefly powered up out of nowhere, and I thought maybe I could hop on the laptop and make this a little bit better for everybody. But then, unfortunately, it immediately died again.
The red light's on. It means record, Elijah.
And scene.
Yes. Right. Moving back to the Nebraska morale / bump, right? In the land, the king of the land of bumps, LA.
You're referring to the
I think there's a positive response from the guys on offense and for sure on defense. That, all right, what you wanted to do or you were doing wasn't working clearly, so you made a move. Your leader made a move, and I'd look at that better late than never versus a complete lack of faith here with 3 games left. I wouldn't look at it as, oh dear God, it is DEFCON 2. It's no. There's some reasoning to finally make a move because it wasn't working, and you gotta also have one eye looking out towards the portal because you could have had an exodus with your freshmen.
Here's another way of looking at this too. You mentioned, what's the USC reaction to the quarterback change? Do you have the Miller Moss camp? Do you have the Jaden Maeva camp? And what has the response been? This didn't happen last weekend. It's happened. They've had 2 weeks to adjust, but you might have factions, right? That there's some loyalty that might be divided. I think it's odd, Nebraska's situation. It's been well chronicled that have you seen a situation where an offensive coordinator comes in the middle of a college football season? I said earlier this week on the Average Joe Sports Show, this is like the NFL. It happens. It happened at the Bears already. The change is made. With the difference between the Nebraska change and the USC changes, I would imagine that as much as people really do like Marcus Satterfield, nice man, good guy, I would think that there's almost universal agreement that something had to be done. And he's still there, right? And so his reaction to his demotion, I would imagine, as spoke volumes to the players and how they're going to react. But I would think almost universally in the Nebraska camp that people understood this change had to be made. And wow, look who they brought in to make the change with. So you might have factions at USC, but I think that that's a factor at Nebraska that people universally accept, right? why Nebraska did what it did and what the remedy to it is. I mentioned the Bears. Look, they fired their offensive coordinator this week, and nobody knows who he is. And they brought in a guy that nobody knows who he is. Everybody in football knows Dana Holgorsen. Whatever his record might have been at West Virginia and at Houston, but they know his track record as an assistant, as an offensive coordinator, the personnel he's worked with. He is a known commodity. So for Nebraska to pull off this move at this stage of the season, as unique as it is, I don't think you're going to find too many people in the Nebraska camp going, oh, no, we're going to stand behind our guy. I don't think there are very many people doing that.
Bill Doleman with us here, a Friday edition of Hail Varsity Radio as we discuss Dana Holgorsen taking over play calling duties. We'll get a first taste of that tomorrow as Nebraska takes on USC out here in LA at the Coliseum. I'm doing this show live from the parking lot in Santa Monica. And
say you're near the beach.
I mean, near the beach in a parking lot. I guess there's worse places to be, especially in LA. But anyway, Bill, back to business here. As you look at this tomorrow with Dana, the impact, we've talked about this plenty on this show this week. Just, I guess, realistic expectations for what this offense can be better at come tomorrow. Because you know that it's a really tough task to ask your defense to say, hey, hold USC below 14 points. USC's offense, I believe, has only been held under 20 points once this football season. I have to look up my stat on that, but I think I have that right. That's just what they do. They put up points offensively. What's a realistic expectation for Nebraska's offense if they want to give the team a chance to win tomorrow?
If Nebraska scores 28 points, I think they win the game. I think, again, because USC's got a new quarterback who has not played that much this year. I think Heinrich Harburg has played more than Jaden Maeva has played for USC. So I think that they might have a little struggle getting their offense going. Now, these guys does have the quarterback whisperer, or one of them, and Lincoln Riley, calling the plays for him. So that's positive. But I think if Nebraska can get to that magic number of chasing 28, that I think the defense is going to be good enough. And I would imagine Tony White's probably going to simplify things and say, just go get the guy. Go really hard and go hit him. He's a big dude, but just play to your athletic ability defensively, especially you front seven guys. And you guys on offense, I think it's going to be a little more simplified. I don't think there's going to be a ton of things dancing through whichever quarterback is out there, dancing through their head as to what the checkdowns are. I think the running game playbook, from what I understand, has gone down by almost 90%. So a simplified game plan, go out there and execute. And if you can get 28 points on the board, then I think Nebraska's got a good chance of winning the game.
Bill Doleman's with us, Hail Varsity Roadshow here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Moonbot is willing to donate to the show, donate to the cause. If Elijah can get pictures with the USC Song Girls tomorrow, the respect will grow just a little more.
Of them or with them? Because if it's of them, I think $5 is okay. If he tries to take it with them, that $5 is going to go toward bail money.
Yeah. Why is Elijah crying?
And maybe they like mustaches.
Speaking of money,
spray.
Speaking of money, what'd you think of the $67,000 that he's making this month?
I think it's double middle fingers to his friends at Houston for popping him. That's what it is. He wants it to hurt. Just like old Brett Bielema being an unpaid intern for way too long after his Arkansas days when he was with New England.
He's making $275,000 for Houston's game against Arizona, Baylor, and BYU.
Well, do you like Arizona tonight? -1
against Houston?
Yeah, tonight.
I do because Houston's pissed off, thinking we're paying that guy $275,000 to coach at Nebraska. So, yeah, I'm looking at that number going, how is it that he's making $67,000 here? Why is it so low? I thought he'd make $500,000, but no, it's mitigated. So Houston is, and I love the University of Houston. I had great work there, good friends there. I love the city of Houston because it's similar to Fairbury. It's like a sister city.
Smog.
But he's still owed $14.8 million through 2026, 27, something like that. So he could take this Nebraska gig for $67,000 this month. It's going to cover his Verizon bill fairly easily, but Houston is still paying him $275,000 this month and will continue to pay him for the next 4 years. So Nebraska might say, we'd love to have you stick around. What do you say we give you, I don't know, $500,000 next year, and Houston's still paying him for the next few years.
I'll say
Brilliant
this.
move.
I'm ready to do my Dana tribute tonight. I have a visor in my bag, and I'm going to the tables after dinner tonight.
Hey, whatever they're saving on Holgerson for however long he stays here, just put it toward the South Stadium project plan, you know?
Sure.
Put his name on it. What the
Bill,
hell?
I need a prediction. Bill Doleman with us. I need a prediction for tomorrow, Bill, Nebraska-USC. And where are you leaning? Nebraska run game v. USC run game. That's going to be your key stat, whoever can rush for more.
Well, I with the news today that now USC finds itself with a clause in the contract that they could fire Lincoln Riley and save $90 million. They probably could care less how they play. So they may go in the tank, and the new president comes in and says, well, we're not going to pay that guy anymore. So we don't care what happens. I said 9-9 because these two teams are a combined 9-9. I think it ends in a tie, but because somebody's got to win these days, 11-9 Nebraska.
The old safety coming through for the win. Bill Doleman with us here on Hail Varsity. Billy D will holler at you for Real Red Reaction tomorrow, partner.
All right, boys. See you later.
All right. Appreciate you. Derek Peterson coming up. Saturdays down south. Clausburn on the way.
For lunch every day.
Heard at Sports Bar and Grill.
Where can you watch all of your favorite college and professional sports all season long?
Heard at Sports Bar and Grill.
Who's got family-friendly entertainment all throughout the week, including trivia, music bingo, and live music every Friday?
Heard at Sports Bar and Grill.
Heard at Sports Bar in La Vista is the spot for lunch, date night, corporate events, or even a late-night cocktail. A one-of-a-kind spot for sports fans and more. Behind Cabela's in La Vista.
Heard at Sports Bar and Grill.
Time to tell you about Lincoln Weight Loss and their huge holiday 30% off sale with the lowest prices of the year. Now through December 31st, while supplies last. They know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day with no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no counting points or calories, no drugs, no surgery, and no injections with the risk of serious side effects. Sign up now to get the discount, and you can start the program before, during, or after the holidays. You'll keep the weight off for good with the revolutionary program. No more losing weight and then gaining it back. Go to LincolnWeightLoss.com now for details. I'm living proof that this program works. I lost all the weight in just a couple of weeks, and I've kept it off for over a year. Take advantage of the lowest prices of the year with this huge holiday sale. 30% off while supplies last. Do the program in person or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation now. 402-520-8170. That's LincolnWeightLoss.com.
This Thanksgiving at Total Wine & More, find Pinot Noirs and Cabernets that you adore. Our helpful guides are so friendly and nice. So many bottles to try at the lowest price. So gather with friends as you sit down to eat. Grateful for all who made Thanksgiving complete.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay.
And now,
back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back into it, it's Hail Varsity. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel, and we welcome back in Dr. Petey, Derek Peterson with it. Saturdays Down South, some college football thoughts. Derek, good to spend some time, man. How's the season treating you?
Good, man. I feel like the season went by a little bit faster than some recent ones. Like we're already to mid-November. Like it'll be Thanksgiving in a couple weeks. The season has been a really, really good one.
Big ball game out in La La Land. Nebraska trying to get to that elusive 6th win. They brought in Dana Holgorsen. Lincoln Riley keeps fending the Wolves off. What's your assessment here of both these spots, or squads rather, in a tight spot here mid-November?
I mean, it's a desperation game, and it's going to come down to like who is the more desperate team. If you look at USC, they've got Nebraska left at home, then they've got UCLA, and they've got Notre Dame. UCLA is playing better. USC could open as like a 10-point underdog against Notre Dame at home. 2-5 in league play in their first year in the Big Ten. I wrote a piece in the summertime. I suggested taking the under 7.5 wins for USC this year, just because I think the defense has gotten a little bit better for USC. I like Danton Lynn. I think the staff that Lincoln Riley built is better on that side of the ball, and they just generally know like what they're supposed to be doing more, which is going to raise the floor. I still don't know if they have the personnel yet. They've gotten better, but they haven't taken a giant step. You know, I look at their profile and they stop the explosive pass plays. They're better on late downs, but there's not really anything that like they can hang their hat on. And then offensively, they've just gotten so much worse since moving on from Caleb Williams, which like you can expect them to be worse when you lose a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback and a guy that is a number 1 overall NFL draft pick and instant starter in the NFL. Like you're going to be worse. They just have so many issues. They're moving to a new quarterback this week. Jaden Mayaga is taking over for Miller Moss. I don't think USC's issues are just entirely Miller Moss. You know, like sometimes when there's like an abrupt change like that, you see like a little bit of almost like a breath of fresh air. There's an inclination to think, okay, well, USC is moving to a new quarterback. Miller Moss just threw 3 interceptions against Washington. Lincoln Riley also called 50 pass plays against Washington. Washington has one of the better pass defenses in all of college football. The general presumption with guys that come from a Mike Leach tree on the offensive side of the ball is that they're going to just throw it all over the yard. But that wasn't ever Lincoln Riley's thing. Like he was always a guy that ran to throw. He was a guy that wanted to establish the ground game and wanted to run the ball. And he sort of morphed what he did based off of personnel that he had. But it always came back to, can we be successful running the football to set up other things that I want to get to? And they're just not doing that this year. They're throwing the ball. Miller Moss had 50 pass attempts against Washington. He had 50 pass attempts against Maryland. He had 45 against Wisconsin. He had 51 against Michigan. That's not a Lincoln Riley offense. And that's not really playing to what your team's strengths are. And that's not really playing to like the defenses that you're being presented with. And I think that a lot of what has gone on with USC this season is Lincoln Riley. I don't think he's been good as a play caller. I don't think he's been good as a recruiter. I don't think he's been good as an evaluator of talent. They are like in a bad place or a worse off place because of it. Like when I look at this game, I kind of wonder, does Lincoln Riley want to do this? Like that's like the big question at the end of the tunnel. Like, does Lincoln Riley want to do this? Like the Dallas Cowboys job is probably coming open. We've been talking about the Dallas Cowboys job since Lincoln Riley was Oklahoma as an assistant. You know, it's a very well-known thing that's been out there for years. Does he want an NFL job? Does he want to keep doing this? Does he want to deal with NIL and the transfer portal and revenue sharing with college athletes and constant change and not really knowing what you're going to be doing or what your roster is going to look like? Does he want to do this? He's been like combative at times at USC, particularly with the media. This season, I just kind of wonder, like, how invested is he in this product and getting this program to do the things that it needs to do to get where it wants to be? Even though Nebraska is having to travel across the country, I think in a desperation spot or a supposed desperation spot for both of these teams, I just think that Nebraska is going to want this more. It's a bowl game. They want that 6th win. They've wanted that 6th win since 2016. And it's right there. And you get this USC team that is sputtering, that's changing its quarterback, that has all these questions swirling. You can go out and you can actually go and take it. I think that Matt Rule will just have them in a better headspace. And then also, too, you have to consider, like, what is the addition of Dana Holgorsen do for them?
You talk about the fact that Lincoln Riley, he comes from that Mike Leach, Hal Mummy tree, but he still ran the football in his own right. You can say the same thing about Dana Holgorsen. That being said, Dana still likes to air it out. I wanted to get your thoughts on the marriage between Nebraska and Dana Holgorsen. You're a guy that's covered a lot of Nebraska football during your day. You know the fans are always screaming, run the damn ball. What do you make of Dana Holgorsen being the new play caller for Nebraska?
We'll see. Not a very fun answer, but I don't know. I think that Dylan Raiola will like working with him better. I think that it's hard to get worse than what Nebraska has shown offensively in recent weeks, but I just have not understood constantly asking Dylan Raiola to just throw at or behind the line of scrimmage. In a lot of instances, like, go against the numbers and just try to beat the math that way. Like, I just don't understand why that was the approach. I've seen Raiola, now he's had ups and downs like you would expect from a freshman, but I've seen Raiola hit some like layered throws this year. And I've like, in the moment, I've been like, it's been like a decade since I saw a Nebraska quarterback hit that kind of a throw. Like, when was the last time I saw a Nebraska quarterback make a touch throw like this? Like, it's been a long time. He's a very talented quarterback, and Dana Holgorsen throughout his career has worked with very talented quarterbacks to success. That's why he got where he got. You get a new voice in there, you get a breath of fresh air. Maybe he can give Dylan some simple things to do, just sort of like pare down what you're trying to do and just really focus on here's the good of what you do. So let's really hammer that. Oftentimes what happens with a lot of these like mid-season play caller changes, and you see like an immediate boost. I think that Dylan probably fits into a Holgorsen offense better. Ultimately, we've seen, this is what we've seen for years and years and years. Like, you're going to go as far as your quarterback can take you. It comes down to getting Dylan into comfortable spots, building some confidence for him so that he can make a few more of those throws that I talked about. Those from earlier in the year. He's been a little bit spotty with some of the downfield stuff. Try to build a rhythm, get him in spots where he's just more comfortable, and then you can really, start to build off of that.
Derek Peterson's with us, Hail Varsity Radio, Saturday Down South, where you can read Derek, Dr. Petey. And last thought here, Derek, reaction to week 2 of the college football playoff rankings, how they are stacked right now. Are you buying the Big Ten in numbers, or do you think the SEC's got a little more juice despite a few more losses?
So when the schedule for this season first came out and we looked at the schedule that SEC officials handed, like Georgia and Alabama, everybody's like, oh my God, like what? Like, Georgia has to play 3 of these teams on the road? Like, what are we doing? And now you get to November, and I'm looking at the way that the SEC has shaped up, and those guys look like absolute geniuses. I don't know if this was their intention or this was just sort of an unintended but awesome byproduct, because what you have is Texas A&M could make the SEC championship game. If they beat Texas at the end of the season, I don't know, they're playing in the SEC championship game. You could get like Tennessee and Texas A&M in the SEC title game. Both of those teams would get into the playoff in that scenario, regardless of like what happens. Mm-hmm. Texas would get into the playoff in that scenario because they would only have 2 losses. It'd be a 10-win Texas team. They're going to get into the playoff. Then you've got like Ole Miss, which has a win over Georgia, win over South Carolina. And then you've got the brand names, Georgia and Alabama. So if you put Texas in, how could you possibly exclude potentially a 3-loss Georgia team? Because Georgia beat them on the road. It kind of feels like what has happened for the SEC is that they're going to get some of these like second-tier teams in, and then the decision is going to come down to Alabama, maybe like a 3-loss Alabama team or a 3-loss Georgia team against a 2-loss Clemson team, or like the loser of the Big 12 title game. I would guess that Georgia or Alabama would get the benefit of the doubt. How could you leave out Georgia from a 12-team playoff? Even looking at the rankings that they put out, like Texas A&M's 15, like I think that the SEC could 5, maybe 6. Like the SEC is going to dominate this field. I don't really know what to do with Indiana, because I really like Indiana, but they also haven't played anybody, and they could finish the season without a single win against a team that receives a vote in the AP poll. Like if they lose to Ohio State, I think there would be a legitimate conversation about excluding a 1-loss Indiana and staying with a 3-loss SEC. I just think that's going to happen. I just think the SEC is in a really, really good spot.
Dr. Petey, appreciate you. Thanks much.
Yeah, good to talk to you.
Good to spend time with Derek Peterson, and good insight there on Nebraska USC and the plight of Lincoln Riley. Elijah is near the beach in Los Angeles in a van down by the ocean. Justice Rhody stuck in studio, not only tonight, but tomorrow for the weekend edition, as we're on noon to 2. And then don't forget Real Red Reaction follows. Can watch that on the Hail Varsity YouTube channel. Game Dog off the top rope as they're talking guys who switched positions in college. Yeah, Marcus Allen was a fullback. That was Steve Taylor's high school. Marcus Allen starred in San Diego. And you know what? That's where Steve Taylor played his ball. So Sexy Grinch checks in, letting Elijah know that the Airbnb has been christened. It's just quite horrible. Sexy Grinch is drinking beer now, which is wonderful. Grinch is a Corona guy. Big thanks to Ann. I got to go see her commercial break and hammer a quick Coors. But no, here's what I'm most interested in tomorrow. Back to football. Clausburn coming up, Friday forecast here. We're at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Roadshow Friday. Cross the river, get your college football bets in. We've got to narrow down this 14 parlay, by the way. So I want to see Nebraska's freshman quarterback look like September Dillon. Wishful thinking probably, but I want to see that tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, boom, get the ball out, move the chains. And quite honestly, there's been no answer for Nebraska's run game between the tackles or on the edge, Elijah and Justice. I mean, Nebraska's been inept, consistently running the football. They're going to have to do it tomorrow. Marks is really talented, and then you get the dual threat part with Maeva and Marks. If they run some zone read, that doesn't feel like what Lincoln Riley wants to do. But as Dr. Petey put it, that guy might be halfway to Dallas by now anyway. Do you have a feel for Jake Paul Tyson? I think Tyson just murders the guy tonight, doesn't he?
No. If Mike Tyson doesn't knock him out in the first or second round, boxing is a young man's sport. It's as simple as that. Tyson's 60. He's got like a 3-minute window before I think he's going to start to
58,
gas.
and who knows how clouded the lungs have been, gummies or not. I was real anxious, too. I don't believe Malachi Coleman made the trip. So, he's maybe back in Lincoln. I don't know. I was hoping that he'd be in action. Don't know if he's going to be. Forecast is on the way. Clausburn coming up. Hail Varsity Roadshow Friday continues.
Has wrapped up here on KFOR, and now we're getting ready for the upcoming high school basketball season, which begins in early December. Catch all the action right here.
FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. Black Friday starts now. Trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Hurry into Verizon this Black Friday. Service plan required for Watch and Tab. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Doors take us to summers away or winter adventures and afternoon getaways.
That's so good.
Your dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors by working with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential. Because doors were meant to be opened. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimum supply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
You can live out your MasterChef dreams when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers. Oh, they're here. Hey, who needs something to drink?
we've been overindulging a little more than usual. Thank goodness we both added active liver to our diets to give our livers some much-needed support so we have the energy we need to enjoy the holidays.
Active Liver from New Nordic contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract designed to give your liver maximum protection and help it do vital jobs like removing toxins from alcohol, rich foods, and sweets.
Try Active Liver today and enjoy all the holiday treats with the peace of mind of knowing you're giving your liver some relief.
Active Liver is available in both a delicious gummy or tablet. You can find Active Liver in stores at CVS or Meijer or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Hey, it's Phil Hooks and Will Wilson from the Morning Hookup. Coming up on a Monday, we'll welcome back Omaha World Herald's Evan.
And now,
back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Great to have you back in Hail Varsity, winding down a Friday road show. We are here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Across the river, lots of action going on. We are going to nail down that Hail Varsity Parlay 3.0. Captain is in, Drunk Monk. Dion is here, Great Red Shark. Good to have everyone in. Elijah in a van down by the ocean in L.A., His buddy, Sexy Grinch, is already popping the Corona back at the Airbnb. Elijah, we need details tomorrow for the weekend edition at noon Central for just how the adventure continues out there in L.A.
Well, the thing is, if Crew's already popping Coronas, I might have to spare you guys the details. Actually, that might get ugly.
Might get ugly, but it's not you. It's better when it's somebody else. As always, Justice Rhody is in. Good to have him hanging out. Thanks to Bill Doleman. Thanks to Brian Christopherson. Thanks to Derek Peterson. We welcome him in. He's imaginary. He wears red. And we are back for all of it. It's the Friday forecast here on Hail Varsity Radio. Clausburn with us. Claus, how we doing? Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me, Christopher. I'm doing okay. I'm a little bit worried about our friend Matthew Rule. You see, he hired an air raid offensive coordinator just a week after Nebraska's electorate carried on the 50-year tradition of not wanting to see an Osborne pass. So hopefully the fans don't give him too hard of a time.
That is pretty good. What do you think of data? We're here at Ameristar in honor. I've got the visor. I've got a West Virginia pullover, and I'm going to the tables later.
Well, you almost said you had the polio. Let's just wait until RFK Jr. gets into office for that to make a comeback. But I'm pretty excited about Dana Holgorsen. I think it's probably no coincidence that we hire a guy with a skullet. And suddenly the rumor starts coming out that we might move a game to Camaro Head next year. So
I love it.
All in all, I'm looking forward to seeing what we've got in store for USC.
Well, we will get that Nebraska-USC pick as part of the forecast. Let us start off as Utah and Colorado get going. The Buffs at 7-2, an outside shot at the Big 12 championship. What happens with BYU and Kansas tomorrow? But Colorado -11, Utah robbed last week. I like the Buffs. I don't know how much fight Utah has left in them. I think Utah is physical. Colorado's really grown up. And quite frankly, I may get hate mail, but I'm rooting for them to get into the playoff, right? I think Colorado wins. I think Utah covers. I think it's, God, what is the score of this thing? You got quarterback number 17 for Utah. Give me Colorado 28 and Utah 17. I guess that's a push. We'll say 27 to 17. We'll make it an even 10 right there. But the Buffs barely cover and win. Elijah?
I just think I'm kind of with you. I don't know what Utah has left to play for this season, and Colorado still has it all out there, trying to win a Big Ten title, trying to make their way to the college football playoff. They got more to play for. I think they have more talent. I think they roll tomorrow. Give me the Buffs 38 and Utah 20.
Okay. Justice, what say you?
I think the Buffs just have a little bit more to play for here. They're not going to find a way to slip. Deion's going to have this program rolling. I like the Buffs big in this one. Give me Colorado 31-10 against the Fighting Utes.
All right, Claus, what say you here? Colorado -11 and Utah.
Well, I understand that Ute fans are so upset about the officiating in their last game, they're already clamoring to leave the conference. And my sources inside several Big 12 fan bases indicate they're all too keen to let them walk. Of course, carrying on the unique American tradition of wanting people from Utah who show up uninvited on Saturdays to get the hell out of their home after a brief unexpected stay. So that's a Mormon joke for you boys. Okay, keep up, keep up. Anyway, Utah is down to about their fifth quarterback. Kyle Whittingham called to ask me if I'd encourage Matt Turman to enter the transfer portal. So I don't think things are going very well. Give me Colorado 31 and Utah 17.
Okay, we move on. Oregon -13.5 at Wisconsin. Does Wisconsin have one last fight in them? They got to get to 6. You know what? I think Oregon wins, but I think they got to struggle to do it. And for some reason, Wisconsin plays better than they've played in a long time, and they just run the football. Give me Oregon 27. Give me Wisconsin 20. A scare for the Ducks on the way to the Big Ten championship. Give me a cover by Wisconsin. Elijah.
I don't have Wisconsin covering this football game. I think they also play tough. I just think Oregon has so much more talent than them. Might be close for a half. Oregon pulls away in the second half. Give me the Ducks 35 and Wisconsin 17.
What do you say, Justice?
You know, Dylan Gabriel's bound for a bad game, a letdown game. I think a couple of picks in this one go against the Ducks. They survive, but old Bucky covers. Give me Oregon 21-17.
Okay, lower scoring. Claus, what happens here? Oregon and the 14 you lay, or are you going to go with Wisconsin?
Well, you know, I've felt since Barry Alvarez took over in Wisconsin that they basically took a Xerox machine to our program with the red and white and the 2 stripes on the pants and the sleeves and the beefy offensive lines and the punishing ground attack, and then hiring coaches that don't quite work out after the legend retires. And now they've got a huge game under the lights on national television, and their fans are saying things like, wonder how we'll screw this up, or if we can just keep it within 2 touchdowns, or if we run the dang ball, we might score at least 1. Listen, Whiskey, quit stealing our moves. Oregon 38 and Wisconsin 17.
This is their Callahan era, for sure, for sure. Tennessee, Georgia. You have Georgia with quarterback issues and a second-team running back, which means he's going to the NFL starting. Tennessee with Nico, who may or may not go, concussion protocol. But I have heard that Nico is not playing. It's -10 here at Ameristar, Council Bluffs Casino. Georgia's angry. Georgia's ticked off. Doesn't matter. Tennessee's defense is for real. This thing's a little lower scoring. Georgia survives 24-17. A Tennessee cover, but a Georgia win. Elijah.
Keep it short, and I'll keep it sweet. I say it a lot. I think Georgia's got more to play for, playing for seeding in the college football playoff. And I think also the doubts at quarterback for Tennessee may loom large in this football game. Georgia's defense is one of the best in the country still. They might not have played like it every single game, but they got athletes. 28-17, the Dogs get it done. A win and a tight cover.
Justice, what say you?
I'll make it quick. Georgia drives this one not very well. 31-17, they find a way to cover.
Claus, what happens here, Georgia or Rocky Top?
Well, guys, I want to take a brief minute to offer my thoughts and prayers to ESPN's Chris Fowler. This week he had the tragic misfortune of having to watch his beloved Georgia Bulldogs fall outside the top 10. I mean, the way this man calls games like a peach farm and homer is absolutely disgusting. When Fowler calls a Georgia game and gets all revved up about the Dogs, he gets more slobber on the microphone than Lou Holtz when he's low on Fixodent. So I'm taking Tennessee out of spite, 24-21.
Claws hang tied for Nebraska-USC.
Okay.
Had to pick up some parts, and he was standing there, and a man came in with a random something, and he was describing this part that they needed. They're like, yep, we've got it, and went over, and he brought it back and showed the man. He's like, yeah, that's exactly the piece I need. We've experienced that. Always great attention, great care, great kindness, interest in you as a person and your project. We've replaced toilets and water heaters and water softeners, and he comes in, he'll say to them, this is what I'm looking at. He'll take him back to wherever it is. He looks at the different things, and then when you leave, you have every part you need. It's always been there. They're super handy. They know their information. They know their products. That is priceless.
Handyman Home Remodeling Center. For the very best in bathrooms, come to Handyman under the arch on Sun Valley Boulevard, Lincoln. Handyman.
Are you drowning in a sea of shopping lists and holiday stress? Then head to Jet Splash. Nothing soothes the soul like water spraying directly at your face as a 200-pound rotating brush slaps voraciously against the roof of your family truckster. Plus, you can get all of your holiday shopping done in the process. Our holiday sale is going on now, where you can get the best deals of the year on annual memberships, or save on 5, 11, or 22 packs of car washes, or get a pack of our new Jet Gloss Ceramic, now fortified with nanographene. Wash the holiday stress away today at jetsplash.com.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off at school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Before Jocelyn Reyna earned a full-ride scholarship to UNL and became a young professional, she was a public school student in Grand Island.
I wouldn't be where I am today without my public school teachers. My family and I moved from Mexico when I was in the 4th grade. I worked hard in school, and my teachers encouraged me to be a better version of myself. I'm proud of my public school experience. It changed my life.
Tell us why you're public school proud at publicschoolproudnebraska.org.
It's the holiday season, and I cannot wait to spend time with my family and friends, just catching up, watching football and stretching the elastic in my favorite sweatpants to within an inch of its life. Turkey's great, but my favorite part of the meal is the gravy. I ladle it over my turkey, mashed potatoes, even the stuffing. That's why I make sure we always have a big basket.
And now,
back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Winding down a Friday road show here at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Elijah by the ocean in Los Angeles. Justice in studio. Clausburn, he's imaginary, and he wears red. Part of the Friday forecast here. Fellas, let's get into Nebraska-USC. As the line here at Ameristar at -7.5. Nebraska getting the points. SC at 4-5, favored. Different team at home than on the road for the men of Troy. I will dive into the deep end of the pool. Dana's offense is better. Dylan looks better. Too much USC athleticism, talent. Maeva makes a play with his legs. Stop me if you've heard this before. On a final drive, it goes USC's way, and the Trojans win 27-21. Nebraska covers, and make your money that way here at Ameristar. Elijah, what say you?
I'll quickly note here for the stream listeners, we are back from break despite what the screen says. I will say, though, my prediction has changed from what it was a couple days ago on the Average Joe Sports Show. I really do think Nebraska can win this football game. I picked that a couple days ago. I'm still rolling with that, and I think it's because of all the Husker fans I've seen out here. Might be a bit of a home away from home for the Huskers in the Coliseum. Not much juice around USC. I think the offense does enough. I think the defense plays an inspired football game. I think the Huskers get a 24-17 win tomorrow afternoon.
All right, Justice, what happens?
I think the Huskers take a page out of Mike Tyson's playbook, and they both find a way to beat up a West Coast wimp. Give me the Huskers big time in this one. I like a 38-28 win for the Skurs. Offense finds a way to start rolling.
Did you say 38?
38, that's right.
Wow.
I'm putting it down.
Claus, what's your reaction? What happens here? Give it to me. Nebraska-USC -7.5 USC.
Well, first of all, after that Tyson reference, I was going to tell your listeners to cover their ears, but they're your listeners, so they already are. Anyway, now I know on paper it looks like USC football program has the edge on the Nebraska football program all time. They've won 4 out of the 5 times we played them. That 5th game was a tie. We have 5 claimed national championships, and they have 11. We have 3 Heisman Trophy winners, and they have 8. And we actually have 0 former players who have led the LAPD on a nationally televised police chase after committing a double homicide. And they have at least 1. So that's all in favor of the Trojans, but I think we get this game with an energized offense. Nebraska 27 and USC 20.
Huskers by 7, says Claus. Yeah, that OJ difference maker, Claus. I love it. Bronco S. Blanco. We'll see if Nebraska's in there all white tomorrow. Claus, we love you. We'll be ready for whiskey literally and figuratively next Friday, all right?
Okay.
There he goes, Clausburn. He's imaginary. He wears red. So I'm the sore thumb. I'm the black sheep here picking USC.
Quickly here, parlay of the day. I do have a pick for you, Schmitty, after the show. How about this? Purdue plus 28.5. Way too many points.
I am not betting Purdue.
Yeah,
hell no.
Trust me.
That's a terrible idea.
Penn State has already sent out information to their season ticket holders on college football playoff ticketing information. That's the kiss of death. Purdue doesn't win, but they keep it closer than it should be. Give me Purdue plus 28.5 this weekend.
Your money. All right. We'll get that parlay knocked out. Big thanks to Justice. Big thanks to Elijah. Weekend edition tomorrow at noon with Hail Varsity.